I mean, even if you agree with the policy, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I think it was disappointing. I think a lot of us who support the policy were looking forward to yesterday being the first flight. I think only if it had been a small number. I think symbolically, actually, it would have been quite important. So it's disappointing. I'm not going to pretend it's anything other than disappointing. Having said that, when the policy was announced in April, I think we all thought it was going to be pretty attritional. We all thought it's been lots of ups and downs. But what I would say, I've just seen the Home Secretary's statement in Parliament. She's incredibly determined, and I continue to believe that one way or another we will eventually be successful with this. And if the European Court of Human Rights hasn't struck the whole thing down, it's a temporary injunction. Time will tell. Time will tell. Whether or not what this means for our relationship with the European Court of Human Rights.
Do you agree with your colleague Michael Fabricant earlier that the UK should not, though, be considering withdrawing from the European Court of Human Rights?
I'm of the view that I would struggle to support a situation where we're a signatory of any kind of convention that ultimately prevents us from being able to control our borders. If you want to be a sovereign country, controlling your borders is pretty fundamental. So if we got to a point where it was very clear that the European Court of Human Rights was the key stumbling block that was preventing us from delivering the Rwanda policy and therefore taking control of our borders, then at that stage I think all options should be at the table. However, time will tell. I suspect that it is possible that we can find a way of making this Rwanda policy work while still being in the ECHR. I might be wrong, and if that is the case, everything should be on the table.
It's in that what we can understand is, this may well not act as deterrent. That seems to be the only reason for it. And one of the kind of reasons that people do put forward for this policy, why it's necessary, is the cost. The cost that this causes taxpayers millions of pounds every single day. That's down to our bureaucracy, isn't it? It's down to the very fact that we don't make decisions quickly enough. Surely that should be the number one priority.
I think in terms of the cost, of course, we know with the Rwanda scheme there is an upfront cost. The hope, though, that when we do start seeing those planes going, which I'm confident we will, then hopefully it will begin to start acting as a deterrent. So the cost will not be never-ending. What could actually be never-ending and escalating is the status quo, where we have tens of thousands of people every year arriving on our shores illegally and staying here. The cost of that, in terms of hotels, accommodation, but also pressure on public services.
What we could do is process their claims better, and those that are allowed to stay, give them a job, because there's record numbers of job vacancies in this country, and make them economically productive.
Ultimately, though, if the message goes out that if you find a way of getting here, you pay a people smuggler, you get yourself here, you're able to pay with money, you get here, you attempt that dangerous route. And once you're here, and you can stay here. That sends out the wrong message for me, and that's the whole point of the Rwanda policy. Is it sends out a message when it starts working, hopefully, that do not try and attempt to enter our country illegally, because you will not be able to stay here. And that is the kind of message that will go out if this scheme is successful.